All right, retro news. We got a bunch of retro news.
Oh, good.
I'll start with the worst one.
Okay.
Only because it's related to something that I think you did to your 3DS, but I think you reset it. Did you or did you not add Virtual Boy games to your 3DS?
I did to my new Nintendo 3DS. I did.
Okay. So you'll love this news
Okay.
because I'm sure it'll relate to your 3DS, but you can now play 3DS games natively via a virtual reality headset.
Really?
Yeah, so apparently a developer named Loopy, who he released a beta version of software which allows 3D capture on the latest new 3DS XL capture cards.
Oh, okay.
So, which means that you can play your 3DS games with a VR headset.
That's what I was trying to figure out when you said play natively. I'm like, how do you hook
Yeah.
that up?
Well,
So,
because
okay.
because it's running on the real hardware.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah. So that's why I was saying, like, kind of technically, maybe there's a way for you to actually play your virtual board games
That
this
might
way.
be. That'd be wild to play,
Yeah.
especially in 3D. Oh my God, I'd be vomiting.
Yeah. So you just need the capture card and then
Yeah.
the beta software. So
Now, on a
that was on
a side note, might be worth just getting a 3DS capture card, period. I'm
might be.
going to look
Yep.
into this.
Yep. So, yep, definitely something I thought that you would care for.
Yeah, no, totally.
Me, not so much. The Atari 50th, the Atari 50
Oh,
that we bought
yes.
on the Switch, the anniversary celebration. It was
Yep.
available on multiple things, but
Including the
um,
VCS.
including the VCS, which nobody bought. So except Larry, because it came out like a year and a half later. But Atari 50 came out originally November 11, 2022, had over 100 playable games on it, and it had all these
Oh
timelines
my
with the
God.
history and stuff. Really, really cool stuff.
One of the best like collection that
Yeah.
was I think ever put out, in my opinion.
I think I would argue it's the best collection.
Yeah.
I honestly think it was the best collection. You get the full history and everything. Really, really great from the people who worked on it.
Yeah.
And then they offered free DLC a little bit later, right? And
They did.
we got like 12 new games.
Yeah, we got 12, some of which are like homebrew, some of which were never
Yep.
released before. Yeah, it was actually a really good little collection that they put up.
Right. But now Atari has announced that they're going to be releasing DLC for Atari 50 that's going to include 39 additional games and two additional timelines. So they're actually adding to the history of Atari in the history portion,
Which is very,
which is
very
really
cool.
awesome. They haven't announced what the 39 new games are going to be,
Yeah, no, not yet.
but it's going to be available as DLC that you can purchase.
So just to clarify just a little bit, it is going to be available standalone,
Yes.
even digitally. You can buy this standalone for the Switch, Xbox One Series S, X, PS4, 5, and the Atari VCS.
Hmm.
It's coming out October 25th, hopefully on everything. But if you already own the Atari 50th, you
Yes.
can purchase it separately as DLC. So it is being like released on its
Yeah.
own as a totally
Yeah,
separate
like you can buy
alone.
brand new, the expanded edition
Exactly.
with everything, or you can buy the DLC to add to your
Correct.
game if you own it.
And what I want to mention as well, it's got a steel book coming out, and it looks like the physical copies are going to be for the PS5 and the Switch.
Nice.
So very no, this looks awesome. Cannot wait.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that because I love that Atari 50. Actually, that's one of the games I always take with me when I travel too.
No, definitely well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely love that game. Okay, moving on to House of the Dead 2.
I just
Love
bought
that
that
game.
movie. Oh, the game.
No,
Okay,
no, the
yes.
game. House of the Dead 2 was I think it was one of the, I think it was one of the first games I bought on the Dreamcast.
Really? Okay.
I think it was because
You're not confusing.
I love the arcade game.
You're not confusing Typing of the Dead.
No, I'd never bought Typing of the
You
Dead
never
because
bought that? I could have sworn you
no,
had that.
no, I did not own that.
Oh wow.
I didn't have the keyboard.
I had it.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
you
what
had it.
I
I
don't
did
know.
not have it. But House of the Dead 2 is getting a remake and it is going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Isn't it? Wait, what?
No,
Really?
I think House of the Dead, the
Oh
first
yes.
one,
Yes.
was released. Now they've announced a remake for
I,
House of the Dead 2.
I thought it was a double. Okay, no, this is cool because this is a great game. You're right.
Yeah. So for those of you who like the House of the Dead series and you have a Switch, you can get a copy of House of the Dead 2 when it releases.
Awesome.
Yep. I sent this one. I sent this news to you guys because I thought it was great. It was just great for a laugh. Donkey Kong.
Hmm.
It was recently discovered that
Oh yeah.
Nintendo had a number of different names before they
Yeah.
settled on Donkey Kong.
This is weird.
And basically it was revealed in paperwork because the history of Donkey Kong was that Universal Studios sued Nintendo for Donkey Kong, saying that it's copyright infringement from King Kong.
Famous lawsuit.
Yes, a very famous lawsuit in the video game world. And the list came out of the other names Nintendo was considering for Donkey Kong. Like Universal Studios, like
Hmm.
they use this as evidence, saying like they could have used a different name. And some of the names on here were just imagine if Donkey Kong was called like one of these other names. And I'll run through them quickly.
Yeah.
Funny Kong, Kong the Kong, Jack Kong,
Whoa, watch your language.
Funky Kong, which we
Oh,
actually wound up getting,
yeah, that's something.
right? Wait, Bill Kong.
I think I worked with him.
Yeah, did you work with him?
I'm
Uh,
pretty sure.
Steel Kong, Giant Kong, Big Kong, Kong Down. The person
That hit me too hard.
we have a Kong Down. Kong Down, everybody.
Oh my God. That hit me way harder than it was
That
supposed
wasn't
to. Okay.
that wasn't even my favorite. My
No,
favorite's
I
next.
know. I'm
My
just saying
favorite is
that's
next.
yeah.
Kong Dong.
That one, yes. Yes,
That's the
that one,
winner.
yeah.
Kong Dong.
Yep.
And then we got Mr. Kong,
Proper.
Custom Kong, Kong Chase, Kong Boy, Kong Man, Kong Fighter, Wild Kong, Rookie Kong, Kong Holiday, and finally Donkey Kong.
Calm down, like I said,
Kong
that
Down.
that hit me. And it not and yes, funny, but in my head, I'm just like, calm down, calm down.
Kong Down.
That's how I'm thinking about it.
Well, no,
Oh my God.
like that kind of makes me think of like there are Japanese titles. Like I feel like in other languages,
Oh,
they name things by the description of what you do, right? So I'm just thinking somebody came up with that because it's like, oh, the goal is, to save the princess and knock Kong down. So let's call
yeah.
it Kong Down.
No. Totally. The intent was there. I get it.
Yes, but
But and I mean, famously in that situation is why the pilot episode of Joni Loves Chachi is the #1 rated show in Korea. Excuse me, #1 most watched show in Korea because Chachi is Korean for a male appendage, and
uh-huh.
everyone tuned in for something completely different.
Yeah, they were
So
like,
yeah, they're like, oh, it's Scott Baio and this other chick.
and then the
Yeah,
ratings tanked for the second episode.
basically.
Yeah.
So amazing names. Funky Kong. So Funky
Yeah.
Kong ended up becoming a character in the
Yep.
Donkey Kong Country series. I wonder if they pulled it from here. I'm curious.
I'm sure they did.
I
They
hope
must have.
so. I
Yeah, they
hope so.
absolutely
Otherwise,
must
just
have.
be a wild coincidence. So
No. They absolutely did. Well, if Nintendo had that list, I'm surprised we didn't get Bill Kong eventually. Like,
honestly.
look, it's my cousin Bill. Wait,
Oh,
wait,
you
wait.
know
You're
what?
you're called Donkey, you're called Funky, and you have a cousin Bill?
So looking into this a little bit further, I know it wasn't the main part of your story, but the other parts that came out in this was Miyamoto doodled a bear. So Donkey Kong was actually probably gonna, at least original early concepts, was gonna be a bear.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course the 1933 copyright certificate for King Kong, and then the difference between the two gorillas, and famously, this did not go in the way of Universal. We've talked about it before.
No, it did
I
not.
don't know how they lost this, but they lost this court case. And then also one more side note, and then we'll move on. The lawyer in this case, that's the person who they named Kirby after in
Kirby
Kirby's
after.
Adventure. Yep.
Yes. That I remember.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We have to back up for a second. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
What'd you
no, no,
find
no,
out
no.
about?
No, I just clicked on in that post that you were talking about with Donkey Kong. I just clicked on something and it brought me to X. And
Yep.
there's an excerpt here talking about the difference between Donkey Kong and King Kong. I'm not going to run through it, but there's one part that's highlighted, and all that's highlighted is the words non-sexual Donkey Kong. Oh, here's why they compared it. The
Okay.
Donkey Kong gorilla, who's non-sexual, is quite different from King Kong, a ferocious gorilla in quest of a beautiful woman who goes on a rampage, as we do. Chases people, crushes them underfoot, and throws them to the ground. And fights with dinosaurs, giant snakes. And wow, there's actually a lot
Yep.
more kids. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, they just
but Donkey Kong kidnapped Pauline.
he yes, he did. You're right, but they still compared the far farcical, childlike, and non-sexual Donkey Kong. I guess he just
Okay.
kidnapped her. It doesn't mean anything. He wanted to fall in
In
love with her.
other,
Just kidnapped
yeah,
her.
in other words, Donkey Kong didn't have an adult theme
Exactly.
to it. And then when I say adult, I don't mean like
No, no,
X-rated.
no, no. Of course, it
Adult,
just
like adult theme.
they were doing everything their best to
Right.
differentiate Donkey from King. I just found it funny when it popped up. That's all.
All
So
right.
well, let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. All right. Like I was saying, the remake of Riven, the sequel to Myst,
Oh,
came out last week on Steam and on GOG.com.
okay.
So for those of you who are a fan of the Myst series, you can get the remake of Riven officially now.
That's cool.
So I will be grabbing that on Steam. It looks beautiful.
Does I didn't
It's
get a chance to look at it. I'm gonna check it
yeah,
out
it
in a
looks
moment.
absolutely beautiful. Definitely looking forward to playing it. Actually, I kind of want to go back and start with Myst and then start working my way through again.
Ooh, okay.
Um, I don't think I ever finished Riven.
I never
So
played any of those games, to
I
be
know, I
honest.
know, I know. Well, those games they're really just kind of discovery kind of games. Like you got to walk through. They're very puzzle heavy,
Hmm.
and discovery, very mystery type things. So they're not everyone's bag.
Not
But
everyone's
yeah,
bag,
so
baby.
if you're a fan, you can get that on Steam or GOG.com.
Yeah,
A team of Spanish Sega fans,
Sega.
Sega,
Okay.
are looking to build the ultimate Sega console. They are working on what they're calling the Super Sega. It's an FPGA console that will play Sega Genesis, Sega Master System,
Oh wow.
Sega Saturn, and Sega Dreamcast games all in one.
Wow, that's being very
And we're talking, you have to
something.
own the games to play them. So it's going to have a disk drive and it's going to have slots for the cartridges for all the different.
That's interesting.
So it's a project for them right now. It's not done. They're working on it, but they have a an image of it,
Okay.
of how they envision it, and it's a really long console.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's just
That's the
super.
back of it.
Yeah, it's super long.
Oh no, this the
You
front.
can no, it's the front
No, no,
because
you're right.
because here's where you plug in the controllers.
Yep.
It's gonna have they're looking for an SD card reader. On the side is gonna be the
Oh,
CD reader
okay.
for
Yep, yep.
Saturn and Dreamcast. It also says reader writer. So I don't know if we're talking about burning stuff off of this or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And then on top you can see the Genesis
Oh,
Master System, and they have
yeah.
SG 1000, SC 3000
Yep,
slot.
the Sega Mark III, if you will.
Yep.
That
So
is ugly.
it is absolutely ugly, but
It's something.
they want to capture every
No,
Sega console in one shot.
I'm still dying to get my hands on an original Mark III game, just any game, just to have one,
Yeah.
because I actually have an adapter for it for the analog.
Yeah.
But that's very interesting. Yeah, hopefully it goes through a couple more design R&D reviews, but
Yeah, hopefully.
very all right. But that's
Yeah.
some hopeful. These FPGAs, man, I'm telling you, screw the
Yep.
Mr. Project. Just give
And
us
that
FPGAs.
Yep, and the team behind this basically said that they are going to do a funding campaign for it, but
Okay,
they're not doing one until they have a working prototype. So they want to make sure it
makes
works
sense.
before they go for funding,
Makes total sense.
which is
Okay.
awesome. So curious to see if this pops up again.
I honestly would buy it strictly for the Dreamcast and Saturn.
Yeah,
So,
I think that would
yeah.
be great. Okay, moving on.
Here's my question now. Now, I'm sorry,
Oh,
just
uh-oh, go for it.
yeah. You're going through all that trouble for all those systems. Why not the Sega CD?
Well, it's a good
Just
point.
some. I mean, obviously, you don't have the answer. I know that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
you go through.
Well, Sega CD and 32X to just wrap it up.
Well, 32X is all right. We can
Yeah,
push that one to the side.
we can live without those 20 games.
But still, the Sega CD. I just
I
figured
mean,
it's going that far.
well, think about it. For the failure that the 32X was, it still had more games than the Virtual Boy.
I am going to challenge you on that, but you move on with your next story.
All right, you look that up.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Konami's game Jackal. Do you remember the 1986
I
game Jackal?
do. If the, I'm about to maybe ruin your story, they just dropped it on Arcade Archives.
That's exactly what I was about
There
to
we
tell you.
go. Love
Yep,
Arcade
it is
Archives.
now available on Arcade Archives on the Switch and the PS4 last week officially.
I'm telling you, folks, if there's an arcade game that you love and it's in there, it is worth the $8. That Hamster is the company that puts them out. They've put out consistently like for like over 450 weeks in a row,
Hmm.
I think.
Wait,
Um,
$8?
$8. Those games are like $8,
Oh,
$7.99.
so okay.
Yeah. Um, and they put out one consistently, even during the pandemic,
Hmm.
like at the beginning, right in the height of it. They're still putting out these games. Totally.
Which
So
is
I have
cool. Oh,
such a collection of them.
I was thinking of Ant Stream Arcade. That's why. I was
Oh,
like,
oh,
because
that's another one I was looking
that,
into
yeah.
because
So
the app, like you mentioned last week, the app dropped on the
on the iPhone.
iOS on the
Yeah.
iPhone. I downloaded it. I can log in. I have like a free account that I use on
Yep.
the VCS, but I don't know if I was able to play. But also, I didn't have a controller hooked up. So
Mm.
now I might be thinking about buying one of those. You ever see those advertised on social media? It's called Backbone for
Yes. Hmm.
iPhones and Android.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And they are very popular. They work like they're legit. So I might pick up one of those strictly to be able to play Ant Stream Arcade on the go on my iPhone.
Nice.
Yeah, no, very cool.
More news, lots of news. You actually posted this on our Facebook page. I don't know if it went on um
X.
Instagram and X, but Street Fighter the movie
Oh yes, yes, I
has
saw
been
this. Yep.
officially given a release date. It will arrive in theaters March 20th, 2026.
Doesn't even sound like a real date.
Nope. And my question is, will Jean-Claude Van Damme return?
I hope
Hope
so
I hope not.
because I was very upset when he was not in the that Kristen Kruk vehicle, but I'll
Oh,
take him in this one.
oh boy. Let's that's all I want to talk about him. That's it. Done.
Oh, the muscles from Brussels.
No, it's all good. So,
Okay, I have an
what
update
do you
here.
have? What do you
What'd you
have?
say? Which system did you say had more games?
I said
The-
32X has more games than the Virtual Boy.
Okay, well, you're right. 40, 40 total released Sega 32X games
Yep.
against the 22 officially released Virtual Boy games.
I don't know why you have to fact check me. I knew that.
I feel like you dive more into the Virtual Boy just for these facts against it than I do as a pure lover of the system.
No, I know. That's why like I'm educating you as I'm knocking it. So it's like twofold. You're this big fan of the Virtual Boy and you don't know anything about it. So I get to
Well,
educate you while I insult it. It's
I
perfect.
knew it had a limited number of games. I just didn't
Uh-huh.
realize the 32X
How
had that
limited?
many games.
Yeah,
22.
it did. It surprisingly had more. So, okay,
Hmm.
moving on. I've got two more bits of news. Well, yeah, maybe three more bits of
That's
news.
all
I
right.
want.
Just keep going.
Yep, gonna keep going. This one's really interesting. A rare promo VHS for the Nintendo's Satellaview. Remember,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Satellaview was the online portion for the Super Famicom,
Hmm.
where you were able to play games online in Japan, way
Yep.
ahead of when we were able to do it here.
A lot of exclusives too.
Yeah, exactly. So they found a VHS of the promo for the Satellaview. It's like an 8-minute video
Oh wow.
from back in 1995 was when was when the Satellaview came out.
Hmm.
And actually, if correct me if I'm mistaken, but I think you can go back to the Famicom for online gaming. Like I think Japan had
It had some
like it
horse
had like horse
racing.
racing
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, so like they've been dipping into online gaming going all the way back to the Famicom. But this was one that was actually you could purchase for your Super Famicom.
That's cool.
So you can, if you want, you can go online. There's an 8-minute promo video that has been restored by the folks at Hard 4 Games, Hard the number 4
Hmm.
games. And now it's up on YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube to see what the actual promo is for the Nintendo Satellaview. It's in
That's cool.
Japanese. It's in Japanese. It never wound up coming out here. So
No, we got something else. I forgot what they called it. X
Um,
something. Remember, it was
yeah, I don't remember
X
exactly.
something. Yeah, and Sega had its own Sega channel, but the
Yep.
internet was it came out on Super Nintendo and Genesis. But nevertheless, this is Teleview. That's it. I gotta. We'll put a link up for that. We'll
Yeah, we
put
should
the name
definitely
in the
put a link
video.
up for it. I watched the first couple of minutes before we recorded, and it was
Oh,
just
did you?
it was really interesting to watch. So, especially when you don't understand the words.
Yeah.
Two other quick things which really really fun. One is a Zelda 2 Adventures of Link, The Adventure of Link.
Hmm.
The NES game, very, very, not my favorite one, right? Definitely
No.
not my
Yeah.
favorite. But this content creator, what is his name? Infidelity, Infidelity
Okay.
NES, has ported Zelda 2 Adventure of Link to the Super Nintendo.
Oh, a lot of people are doing these with these 8-bit games.
Yep. So, and the port is available to Infidelity's Patreon subscribers. It's currently in
Hmm.
beta version. But if you are a fan of seeing Adventure, or if you're a fan of Zelda 2 Adventure Link and you want to play a Super Nintendo version, you can join up with Infidelity's Patreon page and get yourself a copy of the port.
Maybe pick a new name, Infidelity. All right.
Yeah, I know. Infidelity NES. And then the last bit of news, and probably my favorite bit of news from this week. This is really, really cool. And I think you'll actually, despite the fact that you hate this game, even
Uh-oh,
though it's
which
one of the
one?
greatest games ever created,
Better not be another Zelda story.
as judged by Metacritic and by people, by regular humans who play video games. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom,
Ah,
one of the best games ever made, hands down,
your opinion.
right? My opinion and many others. So somebody, and I'm trying to get the person's name, but I can't find it now. I had it and I
Somebody.
lost it.
Just like people's love for this game. Go ahead.
Just your love for the game. Everybody else's love grew. So, oh, on the YouTube channel called IT, just
Wow.
IT. I don't know.
Boy, how early did he
Good,
jump in on that one?
good luck finding it. Anyway, this person did a demake of Tears of the Kingdom cutscenes for the Game Boy, and it looks unbelievable.
Really?
Unbelievable.
Huh.
Yeah. So if you haven't played through all of Tears of the Kingdom, it does warn you that there are spoilers in it, but he
So
captured
I'm
it.
so I'm good to play to watch
Yeah,
this.
you're good to watch it, but just watching it because I played through all of Tears of the Kingdom, so I know all the cutscenes. Watching the cutscenes on here, I am absolutely amazed at what this person did.
Wait, so does it look like more kind of like Game Boy Color, like Seasons and Ages? Is that the
No,
video? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that's definitely not what I'm looking at.
no.
That's a whole lot better.
Yes, it's definitely a whole lot better. I'm gonna try and skip down to the actual,
So spoilers alert if you want to bore yourself playing the original game. Wow.
but really captures a great,
Wow.
yeah.
That does look really, really good. Huh. Not gonna lie, if they would have made him the actual sprites like from the Game Boy.
Yep. Like, look at this. Like, this is from
Yeah.
like right at the beginning of the game.
Oh, mister. Goodbye. Huh. Very cool. You even get something like that just framed like a still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. That okay. That I've seen. All right,
Yeah.
this is all right. Now it's all starting to come together for me.
That's just the open.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, look at that. All
So,
right, I might have to put you to work.
yeah, that's really, really awesome.
Yes.
All right. And with that, that is the end of my retro news.
All right, excellent. Man, we always end up finishing news with Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. I feel
Well,
like you set this up.
I always think that we should end with the best. So I always save the best for last.